And previously on this channel, this is as far as the Dan Fraga discussion we've gotten. Let me break some of this down. I want to show you what we have upcoming when it comes to Fraga Boom, Couch Doodles, Danny Fraga, and I want to highlight what we're talking about today. So previously, around the time of the slap, Awesome Comics, it is always insanely depressing whenever I discuss Awesome Comics. I feel like Awesome Comics was in position to change everything in American comics. That's not hyperbolic at all. It's one of the great tragedies of everything that come out of the 90s. So Awesome goes under. But before they go under, he collaborates with Jada Pinkett Smith. You know, Will Smith, the guy that slapped Chris Rock during the Oscars. This relatively is the birth of a time in American comics where almost the entire industry would gravitate towards movie pitches. And I'm even talking mainstream comics. I'm talking Marvel. I'm talking DC. This is one of the things that helped kill American comic books. But Fraga constantly evolves as an artist. He's better with storytelling, better with poses, better with texture. He's more efficient. His brain to blank paper just erases as time marches on. And we have somewhat of a decent pitch here. We did this on this channel. It's not awful. This is serviceable. But I also believe during this time, this is a character that maybe potentially could have, you know, if it got a fair shake, could have caught on and could have been kind of like a female Crow. There was a snowstorm a couple months ago. I scratched my videos then to do a video on Fraga, as I did today, by the way. We did Sana the Barbarian and AKAPAD. I just love the coloring for this bubble font here. What Fraga does here, he really breaks out as an illustrator. He's on all cylinders in expressions. I mean, look at the expressions. In character design, in attitude. This is what you want to see from someone who got spun out of the 90s. The evolution of Dan Fraga is something we can chart, and it's something that's real. And then I was trying to do a video on this. The video I did that kind of surrounds Spider-Man Bad Rock issue 1B. More on that on another video. I declared that this work, guys, look at what's on your screen here. This is good enough to get hired by Marvel, to get hired by DC multiple times. And we see Fraga in a very efficient way. He's opening up his line work. He's drawing great silhouettes, great contours. It's very economic. You can get the page done relatively quick. Fraga evolves his style to make deadlines. Now, some of this bleeds to like a Gen X book. There's he does work on Wolverine. I think a couple years after that, he does work on Black Panther, but never quite gets the red carpet rolled out. Now, this was around the time of Heroes Reborn. We kind of want to say if Heroes Reborn continued with Rob Liefeld in Extreme Studios, we would have got Daredevil Volume 2, Issue 1. If this is any indication of where he was around that time, aka Patters, things would have changed. Things would have changed. And then upcoming, early Fraga. We want to do Berserkers. We want to do his issues of Bloodstrike. And we want to do Black Flag. One of the reasons I've never done anything on Black Flag yet is because it's very confusing. And a lot of the times, and I kind of had to do that for this episode, I have to read the material a lot so I can bring it to you guys. Black Flag is not his best effort during this time. Bloodstrike is good. Berserkers is good. But today, this is Fraga creating. You guys remember these? Wizard certificates. Certificate authenticity. Wizard. Right, we all love Wizard. But it's Gear Station. Then here's Fraga's signature. For anyone that wanted to forge a check from Mr. Fraga, I want to discuss Gear Station 1/2. This is an origin story of a relationship that unfolds in the Gear Station series. This came out around the time of issue 5. So, hang tight. We're going to get to this. And I can't... And before we go any further, I am sorry if Fraga, if Mr. Boom ever sees this video, we will be marking it up. And there it is. This isn't 90s goodness. This is 2000s goodness. Potentially the beginning of the end of the American comic book industry. We have Dan Fraga. Fraga Boom. Couch Doodler. He's right here. This is his book, his creation. He's writing this. He's helping with the artwork. And we have a Wizard 1/2. What the hell is a Wizard 1/2? Well, you would do things with Wizard Magazine. And, I don't know, maybe like give them your firstborn. And then they would mail this to you. So or like, I don't know if these were included on comic book shelves. Like if these were like packaged with Wizard, so you could like buy a Wizard and then buy this. I don't know, but I believe these were mail away. Guys, I'm going off of memory here. Feel free to fact check me. And they came with like these cutesy bootsy certificates. Let's have a look. Some of them came with nice comic book sleeves and cool labels and stickers to seal the flap. Gear Station is Fraga's attempt to like basically break out of the school and the role of one Rob Liefeld. The history of Dan Fraga and Rob Liefeld to me is a rocky one. Now, I'm under the impression the two of them have, time heals all wounds and all of that fun stuff. But during this time, there was a contentious nature between Fraga and his mentor, Rob Liefeld. I don't know how much Rob Liefeld mentored Dan Fraga outside of giving him work. Because I don't know what Rob Liefeld could teach you. He's not teaching you how to do backgrounds and how to be efficient with the comic book page and comic book production. He's not really teaching too much either about character design or the golden goose of comic book production storytelling. I don't think you would learn any of those things from Rob Liefeld. Now, to counter that, Mark Silvestri and Jim Lee, they're the guys that look at their studios, look at the talent that came out of the Top Cow and Wildstorm Productions. Very different than the Rob Liefeld talent from Extreme Studios. Almost like evolved out of spite, I'll say. I could be wrong. Fraga, if you ever watch this, feel free to correct me. But Gear Station, Fraga should have been hired by Marvel. Heroes Reborn. Daredevil Volume 2, Issue 1 should have been Dan Fraga. While, as far as I understand, while Fraga was picking up a couple files or dropping off files at Marvel headquarters, he brought around his portfolio, and that pissed off Mr. Rob Liefeld. And I do get that, because that would piss me off too. But what can you do? What can you do, right? People do what they want to do. So, Fraga, to grow his career in American comic books, creates Gear Station. And Gear Station issues, let's just say 1 through 3, and we'll say maybe this went into production around issue 3 or 4 of its release, because we have a preview here for issue 5. Bingo bango. We get 6 issues of Gear Station. Fraga is making a play. He makes a really big play with this book. I want to introduce you guys to this whole series, to this whole concept. None of the selling points of the series are in this. And what was the selling point? Gear Station had 3D rendered backgrounds and objects, and it was somewhat innovative and progressive of the time. Fraga is screaming at the clouds. He's swinging for the fences to create something of note, to create something to where he can fully break away from Mr. Liefeld and Mr. Liefeld's rule. Well, we're going to start with Gear Station, but we're starting the way how we know some people started with this book. Some people got this because they thought it was going to be valuable. Some people got this because they collected all the Wizard editions, so on and so forth. But a lot of individuals first encountered Gear Station through this promotion, through this original edition. Yes, original characters, original backstory. This somewhat sets up a relationship further into this series, but we're not getting into it. We're just going to discuss what's in here. We have some sketchbook stuff. We have a little bit of a pitch. It's not perfect, and we're going to be very honest about that also. So let's hit that drawing table and rock and roll. I hope you guys like the intro. We've been experimenting a lot. So during all this shooting here, because we go back and forth. We shoot, we watch, we erase, we redo it. I didn't realize that this is a Branded Wizard comic book bag. Wizard really did a good job in putting things together. And some of these have gone up in value. I'm back and forth with a couple of them just for Top Cow Tuesday and Wildstorm Wednesday. Are they rare? I don't think these are rare. I think they could be rare if they were in more demand. If you got all these Wizard half editions together, I think we would have a true collectible. But let's leave the certificate out. I like the certificate. So what do we have? Well, the publisher and the editor in me. Here we go, guys. We need a fatty Sharpie for it. Can we get away with green? Nah, let's just use black. Okay. Here we go. Look at I love showing you guys these are all the people involved with just a couple pages. We have let's just count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 names. Now, given, Team Gear Station's one and Team Image is other and Team Wizard. What we need here is, right here needs to be like a paragraph, okay? And we have to set up the whole situation for Gear Station, okay? We have to kind of describe and maybe hint towards what lies in here. Also, I love the character identifiers here, but we need to go a little bit further. We need to add who these guys are and maybe what their role is in the series. Because here we go, we got good old Moby Dick out, guys. I let's just say I don't know what I know about this series. Okay, you don't is this guy that guy? Okay, it would be great to make that connection before we started reading. This is editing. This is how we put together a publication with the big thing we're missing in this entire edition is information. Oh, and keep note, this guy has pink hair. So these are like two friends, two brothers. They're training together. Based on the captions, we know that these two guys become enemies. That is cool. That's just cool. I like that. But we get this like babe here. She's like smelling flowers. We see a little bit of what separated Gear Station from the rest of the pack, which are these like 3D rendered backgrounds, which technically just could be poser renders. I'm not 100%. Maybe Flex or Swift. Those were the hot applications around this time. But she's like, smelling the flowers, and she has like a little, Lockheed, like Kitty Pryde and Lockheed. But she has a little creature. I'm sure one time they wanted this to become a plush. And she's like, why are those boys fighting? It's such a beautiful day. How could they be fighting? And they're going pretty hard. Nice elbow right to the guy. Have you guys ever got hit like that before? This almost kills you if this happens in real life. But, we get some nice, and Fraga here, he's credited, if we can read it, creator story, Steven Sanchez and Dan Fraga art. So Steven Sanchez, who I'm pretty sure I follow on Instagram, and this dude knows how to pen. It's the craftsmanship of pencil equals paper. In my view, he does some fantastic work here. He does a little bit of what was coming out of the 90s, which it's not manga. It's actually graffiti meets American comics. That's a bit of the hidden movement. And a lot of people just want to say manga and anime were in American comics coming out of the 90s. The graffiti guys, look at early Scotty Young. Look at early Mark Brooks. Look at early Jim Mahfood. These were graffiti guys. They were not American comic artists, and they were not manga guys. But Sanchez here, he does some guys. I love the shadows right here underneath the fingers. This, to me, I drool over this stuff. I love it. I think this has fantastic coloring. Nice fight, but we don't establish our scenes very well. We need a establishing shot here so we can kind of see that they're in maybe some type of arena or just something, right? We need to tag. His choreography is good. His paneling is good. But here, we need what is this background? We need something, a temple back here, right? We need a expression here. And guys, I'm being a little overly harsh because now I'm in that direction. But he draws, he's got good torque for this girl here. Center line. Really good stuff. And he draws things in a way that's fully, it already has our interest. So we have this Blue Genie guy. So this guy, he left this ninja guild or this assassins guild, just like Gambit did in the Joe Mad era, right? Remember the Marauders and the Sabretooth stuff? I remember that. So we get a little bit of this backstory. If you leave this guild, right, they come after you. You can't leave. And the guy that runs the guild is somehow merged with this dark demon that possessed him. And he flipped the script on the demon. But guys, tell me you would not spend the money for this action figure at any time. I get it. I know I say, if you're drawing comics, stick to comics. I don't care about the movies. I don't care about the action figures. I only say that to illustrate the point of when there's something of note. And this design, the way how Sanchez here draws this is, in my view, cool. But again, we don't have a background. Here, we kind of we have to set our stage a little bit here. Can we add some clouds? Can we... a little bit of a reflection here. What can we do to sell the environment? Again, put the clouds here. Put the clouds here. Put a little bit of the mountains. Just do it. I mean, whatever he has on his hand. That's also a toy. But yeah. But then some of these like assassins and mercenaries, they catch up to him, and they're like, "Look, dude, like you're toast." And he's like, "Look, I the love of my life left to find me. She left the guild, and you guys killed her." And they're like, "We don't care. Like we kind of have to kill you now." And we have one amazing, like, look at the hand by Sanchez here. Look at that hand. And we get this fight, and again, like we don't know where we are. Ugh, this is frustrating. You know, like we could have like a little bit of something here, like maybe put the shadow this way, and again too, like let's get guys like even here, like a temple, like this stuff's like it's not rocket science, but we get some amazing coloring. Some like his faces still look like this. Go find him on Insta. So they fight, and then our friends that were training earlier, you know, this is our narrator right here. This is like their sensei, and he's like, you know, like let's take a walk. They run into more mercenaries that are effectively looking for this guy. They fight, knocks them out. This dude's like shocked because he's like that skilled. But here's the crazy thing, guys. Remember over here, just a couple of pages ago. Remember I said this guy's got pink hair? Well, here, if we're reading it, right? Pink hair, right? Pink. I think you guys know where this is going. If we're reading this, we're kind of confused of who this guy is and who this guy is because the hair is blonde. How did we not catch? What did we do? But we have some nice, again, his choreography is great. Sometimes when you know someone can draw and can draw at a certain clip, you let them go. And guys like Duncan for Rugo, I always forget him. Look him up on Metrex and Alpha Flight Volume 2. He was another guy that drew a lot of hands this way. These were like the graffiti guys. These were their hands. Really cool stuff. Paco Medina and Carlos such and such. He drew one of the Wildstorm Thundercats. Forgetting that guy's name. Moving on. And then we get our Big Blue here. Big Blue. Totally nice, like Genko jeans advertisement colored here. Amazing highlights. Lens flare on the crotch. We have a Adobe Photoshop filtered lens flare on the dude's dick. But guess what? This guy who's in green, and we're going to add a question mark because this guy right here is this guy in red, maybe? I think it is. We can say it is. Not that it matters. See, because here we have red, but he basically gets taken out. And then we get this flashback. We get this wonderful, nice flashback of our guy and the love of his life. But then we get, guys, look at the coloring. It's hard to tell. Look at the texture. Whatever you're doing, look at the screen right now. Look at the coloring and the texture of this lizard. Guys, they don't do it like this anymore. They don't do it like this. But this is our the head of the guild. They're hunting down Big Blue, and we have some like great character design. And he's like, we killed them both, meaning we killed both of them. And then we get a little bit of a recap of what's in the series, and this is effective, but like this should have been kind of like everything I wanted here. We had to been like our hand had to been held through this. Now, here's the crazy thing, and let's just get to the ad. You see how this is like this? Let's just call it CGI, okay? This door thing, and I love this tagline. This door was built to keep the evil away. It's not working. I love that. So what separated Gear Station from the pack was the use of 3D level backgrounds on this scale. And it was special. I mean, get some amazing Fraga artwork here. So, coming up on this channel. Now, I will say, what we see here does apply to Gear Station. This is not overly important to what happens here. But coming up, we will discuss the entire Gear Station series. I thought it would be a good exercise to maybe introduce you to Gear Station the same way how a lot of people were, because these Wizard editions were successful in finding an audience for a lot of the books that they pushed. All right, guys. Love you. Rock and roll.